Hello, everybody, and indeed, welcome to another edition of Hoosier Hometown Heroes. I'm Tony Val. Today, my guest is Nick Reich. Nick is Executive Director of Pack Away Hunger, a very special organization working to eliminate food insecurity here in Indiana and around the world. Please now enjoy my conversation with Nick Reich. Hoosier Hometown Heroes is sponsored by Prometheus Consulting. Prometheus is Indy's most trusted name in outsourced IT support. Nick, thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thanks, Tony.
So here's where I wanted to start. I thought it would be a good idea if maybe we have you tell us about Pack Away Hunger as if we've never heard about it, as if we don't know the first thing about what you guys do. Just kind of take us from soup to nuts, no pun intended.
Absolutely. So Pack Away Hunger is a 14-year-old nonprofit based here in Indianapolis that has worked with corporations, faith communities, civic groups, and schools to pack over 23 million meals. So we work with organizations to provide service opportunities, volunteer days that pack our NutriPlenty meals. So it's a rice and soy-based meal with dehydrated vegetables. And we partner with the Medill Institute for the advancement of better nutrition. They're based out of Dayton, Ohio, for our M Plus packet, which is a nutrient-dense. It's actually created for the first 1,000 days of a child's life to address acute and chronic malnutrition. So all of that comes together in an assembly line style packing event. And then we work with our distribution partners locally and around the world to get those meals where they're needed most. So like I said, a little over 23 million meals since 2010, about 1.6 million meals in 2023.
Wow, that's pretty unbelievable. And it is amazing that you're able to send meals really around the globe. Is it weighted a particular way? In other words, like maybe are you feeding Indiana before you reach out, or how does that work?
Yeah, historically, it probably leaned a little bit more on the international side. And over, time, it's landed about 50-50. So we work with our volunteer partners to identify whether they would like to keep it kept in their local community, whether that be Central Indiana, but we also go all over the state and around the Midwest to do packs. So, maybe, folks want to keep that in Oxford, Ohio, or in Lafayette, Indiana, or some want it to go to their international partners. Maybe they have an affiliation. We're working with a large corporation here in Indianapolis that is targeting the mills in Honduras. Somebody may decide that they're open for where we feel like it's most needed. So we land about 50-50 now between domestic and international. That international is really focused on, one, where it's needed, what's going on in the world, and how we can serve, and where we have trusted partners. So this year, we've sent meals to Haiti, to Guatemala, Honduras, and to Ukraine.
Wow. Amazing. And I never would have anticipated that I would make the sort of comment I'm about to make to a not-for-profit, but it really seems like the market is swaying in your favor. The need for what you guys do, sadly, it feels like it's growing and it's almost about to explode. Here, it seems like we're on the brink of World War III, depending upon which part of the world you look at.
Yeah, unfortunately, the need continues to rise. What we offer is unique in a lot of ways, right? Because we allow companies, we allow faith communities, we allow anyone that wants to volunteer to create these opportunities to serve in a tangible way, right? So companies pay us. We're at 35 cents a meal, which you can't find and support those types of food insecure, hunger relief organizations at 35 cents a meal, really anywhere in the world. So to be able to fund that, to be able to provide opportunities to serve in a tangible way where you see the outcome, you see the meal that's created, and then be able to provide that, around the world. But we do see food insecurity rising in our local communities. As well as around the world between, geopolitical challenges, climate change, any number of things that are driving some of that need.
Absolutely. It occurs to me that so many people who are, more fortunate are kind of waking up and saying, what can I do? How can I help? And it occurs to me that Packaway Hunger provides a very easy way, kind of a roadmap. Well, just work with us. We've got everything set up. Come over and do an event and be part of the solution. And it's fabulous that you guys are doing this. So, Nick, it kind of feels to me like there's two sides in terms of, or maybe I would say three sides in terms of who interfaces with Packaway Hunger. It sounds like we have volunteers, which are often groups. You mentioned churches, companies, etc., who want to put on event. They want to make a difference. They want to give their employees an opportunity to kind of be part of the change. And probably also bond with each other, which is great.
Yep.
You also have sponsors, and of course you have the end recipient of your meals, etc. Thank goodness. Are the volunteer groups ever also the sponsor of those meals? Like when a group comes to you, are they usually also funding the meals that they're packing?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, you're exactly right. And historically, the individuals that are coming to pack, those organizations are the one funding the meals. One of the things that we're exploring is how do we create more opportunities for more people? I get an email or a phone call, oftentimes multiple a day, for organizations wanting to volunteer, oftentimes with youth. One of the unique things about Packaway Hunger is we can accommodate volunteers as young as about 5 years old. So it's great for families. It's great for youth serving organizations that want to find ways to give back. So the vast 99% of the time, a company wants us to do a volunteer, day of service with their organization. They fund that, and then we show up and do that. One of the things that we're exploring is this pack it forward option for companies to be able to say, maybe we can do that, but also maybe we don't have the time, we don't have the space, we don't have the ability, but we want to support the work of Packaway Hunger. We want to provide a sponsorship for another group, another organization to be able to do these packs. We have no shortage of individuals in the Indianapolis community that want to serve and want to help. So, being able to match maybe a company that has, a little bit of money that they want to give to support hunger relief efforts in our community, and we can pack that forward. I was on this morning with a Cub Scout troop that wants to volunteer, and they're looking for sponsorship. So, there's no shortage. What I'm trying to do in that case is play matchmaker between organizations that, maybe want to fund or support hunger relief efforts, but maybe don't have, a huge staff, right? Maybe they're a small team of 2, 3, 4, 5 small business, but still want to play a role in giving back and serving the community. There's ways we can make that work also.
Absolutely. What I know of these scouts, at least in my church, actually, is it seems that the troop is attached in some way to the church, and what a great opportunity to for the congregation to kind of fund an activity for the scouts in that way.
Yeah, there's no shortage of need, as you mentioned. And what we're trying to do is make sure that we create a mechanism for individuals that want to serve. But I would say, sometimes that financial component around that 35 cents a meal, while it's, extremely small in the scheme of things, can sometimes be a barrier to the volunteers. So how do we create that opportunity? How do we create a mechanism for the company to be able to have a positive impact, the faith community, but also to be able to make sure that we're providing the number of meals, because we certainly have no shortage of need, where, our goal for 2025 is to grow from 1.5 million meals to 3 million meals. So we need
Wow.
partners, we need donors, we need funders, we need sponsors to be able to do that. Because as you mentioned, the need locally and around the world continues to increase, and we want to be a key factor in feeding people.
Absolutely. Now, in terms of a group coming in to volunteer, are there kind of minimums, like the size of the group, the number of meals packed? What does that look like?
It really depends, Tony, because, we oftentimes can host organizations in our warehouse and in our office that has about a 50-person max, what we're able to accommodate. We go on site the vast majority of times and can get set up, and so the majority of our packs are at that church, at your place of business. So it really creates an opportunity to make it as seamless as possible for the volunteer. We set up in your work, in your cafeteria. You just show up and you do the packs.
Wow, I did not know that. That's neat.
Yeah. So I said probably 90% are on your location. So we show up, we've got a Sprinter van, we've got a box truck, depending on the size of the meals. But normally, it's in that 10,000 meal range, which sounds like a lot, but, kind of we calculate the average volunteer does about 125 meals an hour. So that gives you an idea. But normally it's 10 to 15 volunteers. But we are exploring, like I mentioned, different ways to do this work. So public packs, as an example, is something that the organization's done historically. How can we create opportunities, create a pack for anyone just to sign up and come in and volunteer with their families? And how do we create sponsorship opportunities for that? So, we try to make it as flexible as possible to serve the greatest good.
Absolutely. Now, I noticed in kind of the some video footage that you graciously provided, something that I see so often, and I've experienced myself in volunteer situations, and that is simply that the volunteers are having a great time. They're bonding. Everyone's happy. What do you think it is about the act of coming together as a group and volunteering that is so enjoyable to people?
Yeah, well, I think there's a community aspect of that, right? And whether it's your church, whether it's your company, especially in a corporation, that you're experiencing your team and experiencing your coworkers and colleagues in ways that you don't on a daily basis, right? It's creating an opportunity to have a collective goal, to come together and be able to serve in different ways. One of the aspects that's really important to us is we also try to educate our volunteers on food insecurity, where your meals are actually going to go. Are you serving local communities around the world? But also, what does that look like? What does hunger look like in central Indiana? So you're getting a real clear vision of, I mentioned, the tangible ways that you're able to serve. So you've got the experience, you've got the outcome right there in front of you. You can see the meals that you're creating, and where it's going to go and how it's going to help people. So it really creates a unique opportunity for organizations. But when people are able to come together to serve, it really creates community in a way that you don't get elsewhere. And we have opportunities to work with companies where they say, can we pull in a team building exercise? Like, we can create different aspects of what that looks like, but ultimately it comes back to the ability to work together to serve our community, which creates those bonds, but also creates that real tangible feeling of being able to make a difference in your community.
Very good. Well, yeah, team building is another thing I hadn't really thought about, but it is kind of one of those no-brainers. For years, I've heard about team building exercises where you take a group of coworkers, and you simply get them out of the environment, whatever their normal environment is, and oftentimes magic happens. And Packaway Hunger is a chance to do that and to make a difference. It's just it's like a win-win, you know.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And, we want to continue to center the individual, because that's really important. And it's a huge part of what we do. And we're feeding 1.5 million people every single year.
Yeah,
So it's extremely important. We're able to serve, corporations, these groups, to create these amazing, fun volunteer opportunities to serve, to build stronger teams, and making sure that we're centering this need in our community, that we're able to do that in a way that feeds families a nutritious meal that they may not be able to get otherwise.
absolutely. Well, thank goodness organizations like Packaway Hunger exist. It's super exciting to learn a bit more. And how can people reach out to you if they want to be involved?
Absolutely. So www.packawayhunger.org is our website. There's information on there. If we have public packs, things that you can sign up and do, you can email us info@packawayhunger.org. If you have any desire to partner, reach out directly. I'll follow up. Find some time to connect. Packaway Hunger on all the socials. You can follow us there, but shoot us a note, drop us a line, send an email. We'll follow up within usually 24 hours. Get on the phone and find ways that we can partner.
Marvelous. Well, Nick, thank you so much about sharing a little bit about Packaway Hunger. Thanks for all the good work you do. And we'll see you again one of these days to check in and see how the organization's doing.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, Tony.